Greetings, ma'am. Today I express self-reflection exercise of week 2 on the basis of model of communication. So initially we start with sender means who is sender. The sender is the person who sends his ideas to another person. For example, if the manager wants to inform his subordinate about a work plan and communicate with him in this regard, here the manager acts as a sender. Now I want to move next step, message. What do you mean by message? The message forms the subject matter of communication. It means that whatever the sender wants to say is the message. It includes opinion, feelings, views, attitude, order, suggestion, etc. Now I want to move next step, encoding. What do you mean by encoding? It refers to the process of converting message into communication symbols. For example, to make use of words, gestures, pictures, etc. to convey the message. Now I want to next step, media or transmission. What do you mean by media or transmission? A person who is anxious to send a message has to make use of some medium for communication. There can be many media of communication like face to face conversation, letters, internet chatting, telephone, symbols, etc. For example, if the message is sent to some distant place quickly, it would be proper to use telephone as a medium of communication. During the transmission of a message, it is very important to keep media of transmission free from noise. Now I want to move next step, receiver. Who is receiver? A receiver is a person for whom the message is sent. Uh, this is the point of view of sender. Now I want to move next step, decoding. What do you mean by decoding? The sender can send his ideas briefly in the form of symbols or diagrams. Understanding it correctly is called decoding. Uh, for example, a WhatsApp carries a long message in the form of a few words, and when the receiver tries to understand the message in detail, his effort is called decoding. Now, I want to move last and final step, feedback. What do you mean by feedback? Feedback is a signal pointing out to what extent the receiver has really received and understood the sender message correctly. This is communication process. Conclusion. The process of communication is repeated time and again because the work continues unabated in a business organization, and no work can be accomplished without completing the process of communication. Also, there is most important and specific point in the communication process is noise. What do you mean by noise? Noise is the hindrance in the process of communication. It creates hurdle in the way of conversation. It can take place at any step in the process of communication. Its main examples are telephone line going dead, an inattentive receiver, crossing of a vehicle, sound of someone coughing, letter being lost in the mail, group of people taking nearby, wrong assumption by the receiver, understand wrong meaning by of the message, etc. Thank you, ma'am. This is our self reflection exercise of week 2. Thank you, ma'am. Take care, ma'am.